Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we will be presenting Counselor Wellbeing Toolkit, a counselor's self-care in a digital world. Today our presenters will be Fabian Drain, Katie Goldstein, Marcella Karp, and Tom DeShine. What you'll learn today during our presentation is we hope that after listening that you'll be able to handle the stress of working in a digital environment as a BIT counselor, and most importantly, how to balance a digital work with our counselor toolkit. And we would like you to learn to be kind to yourself. An overview of the objectives that we have for today is to identify stressors that can impact your overall health and mental wellness, to develop and or enhance coping strategies and build resiliency in a digital world, and to develop a personalized well-being toolkit and a self-care plan.
All right. On March 13th, 2020, a national emergency was declared in the United States. Many employers, administrations, and governmental agencies were unprepared for transitioning services offsite. Those with no experience working from home navigated unfamiliar terrain, such as utilization of technology resources and the logistics of space utilization. Employees encountered ongoing challenges to meet work-related expectations, Zoom meetings, online advising, teaching, Blackboard, and an increased reliance on technology, and students who need us to help them navigate similar challenges. Therefore, those who easily left work at work are now tasked with establishing boundaries at home as they manage family, personal, and work roles. Moreover, these factors can add stressors to productivity, health, mental well-being. As BIT members, we are serving students and faculty, which in normal circumstances often bar upon unique stressors. However, now we are managing our roles remotely during a pandemic while attempting to manage the impact of the effect of the pandemic on our own well-being. This presentation will help members to develop coping strategies within the new digital world, utilizing their own well-being toolkit.
Good counselors, who were we before the pandemic and who are we now? As a BIT member, where were you before the pandemic? Were you practicing your self-care? Are you neglecting your own needs to take care of students? Did you reach out to colleagues to help after a crisis? What we mean by this is when we were in our offices, a lot of times we would walk down the hallways, we would reach out to colleagues for assistance after being with a student in crisis. We had things in place to help us get through our days. Are we doing that in a remote environment? Did you respond or did you react to crisis situations? This is an important distinction between responding versus reacting to a crisis situation. So take a moment and think, which way do you respond or react to a crisis situation? As a BIT member, now in the new digital world, how is your caseload? Is it case overload? Probably. More than likely, you're seeing more students who are in stressful situations just because of the new way that we're working, the way that they're having to handle and manage stress in their own lives. We, as BIT counselors, are seeing an uptick in students. The reports are coming in from more faculty. Just the stressors of everyday life are increasing for all of us. So we have to learn how to better self-care so that we can help students in crisis. Are you seeing more students in crisis? Yes, we just mentioned that our cases are just in overload. And so we've got to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can manage those students in crisis. Are you taking breaks? We're in a different world. We don't have those social cues, people walking by our office to chat for a moment, people taking those breaks. We're stuck in our own offices. We don't have social cues anymore to help give us those breaks. So we've got to force ourselves to take breaks. Are you even eating? Some days we sit in our offices and the clock just keeps ticking by. We maybe come to the end of our day and think, have I even eaten today? So please make sure that you're taking time to take care of yourself. Do you have balance between your work and your home life? Does your work life tend to balance and flow over into your home life? You need to make sure that you're learning how to figure out how to find that balance. And we're going to help you today when we balance and help you build that toolkit. Do you have a peer debriefing? For example, that's going to be one of the things that we're going to help you build in your toolkit, because it's really important. Much like it was built into your day when you were in the office, you had those peer colleagues to turn to when you had seen a crisis. It's not right there when you're in your home office. So we're going to have to build that so that you have that team in place to help you debrief after a crisis. Are you pushing yourself harder now than you would have if you were still working in the office? For example, you've got a migraine, or you're not feeling well. Maybe you've got the sniffles. Maybe your allergies are acting up. Maybe you've had a tough day. Normally, if you had to drag yourself out of bed, get dressed, take a shower, get yourself ready, get to the office, your body may just not have the energy. However, if you could stay in your pajamas and you just have to get to the computer in your own office, you might be more likely to go ahead and work for the day. We're pushing ourselves a lot harder working at home than we maybe would have if we were in our offices.
When the world shut down because of a pandemic, the mental health professionals did not. This is a fascinating article from USA Today where they really concentrated on 6 mental health professionals about their experience and how it's affected them. One even said in grad school, they don't teach you how to provide therapy during a pandemic. Another one said, I'm going through the same things they're going through. Her husband is a hospital physician who spent months working from home with 2 small children. A lot of us feel lonely and worried about coronavirus and are navigating work and kids. And everybody's going to relate to different quotes on here. One thing that we've been mentioning during the presentation relates to the quote. Said she's lost valuable connections with colleagues who she would step in the hall to speak with after a difficult session. Building on that, when you had a patient in crisis, it's over in a couple hours. You debrief, you huddle up, you go, whew, you go home. In this case, it's going on and on. This person said, I became numb, and then I became overwhelmed, and then I kind of went back to numb. And in their own words, completely related to this presentation, this individual said, for the first time in my life, I've experienced symptoms of burnout. We learned about burnout in graduate school, but this was really the first time for this individual they truly felt burnout. The stress comes from trying to figure out how to help people who are experiencing something new at the same time that I'm experiencing something new. Okay, looking at the concept of self-care, first we got to think about what additional stressors has the pandemic brought on. Things are amplified. Stressors can come from pondering uncertainty. What is the new normal? Is this the new normal? Or we're talking about the normal, new normal, always anticipating what's coming next. Our well-being should be at the optimum importance, but more likely than not, it's not at the top. There's been chronic and new stressors, things like childcare, things like being able to go do self-care, like watching a movie in the movie theater. There's been very, very harsh social injustice, and there's disparities in healthcare.
Okay, I want to provide you with a mindfulness curious paradox. You may have heard this before, you may have not, but it's about the great Carl Rogers. And he goes on to say, when I accept myself just as I am, then I can change. Another one is, people are as wonderful as sunsets if you let them be. If you let them be. This next slide is a introduction to the wellness continuum. This was developed by Dr. John Travis. Rather than looking at wellness as a absence of disease, Dr. John Travis noticed that there are many, many different degrees of wellness. Um, you want to think of wellness, this wellness continuum, as a pathway. People can head in either two directions, premature death or high level of wellness awareness. Um, a person who is physically or mentally challenged may have a positive outlook on life. Hence, the way that they view well-being is bright, is positive thinking, and so on. However, the person who is generally, that work out all the time, continues to work out, and that's all they focus on, could also be burning themselves out. If you want to run 10 miles every day, that's probably not good on your body, and you need some days to relax. If not, other symptoms could present themselves. So the one thing about this wellness continuum is also that it's a process. It is never static. Wellness never stands still. It's always moving in one or another direction. There's also a neutral point. This neutral point consists of no discernible disease or wellnesses. So let's think of it as just this thing that is just there. Nothing's happening. But again, we said wellness is never static. So there's always something that's going on. So, and one more thing to add is high level wellness includes a balance of all dimensions of life. Definitions of wellness. Now, there are a ton of definitions of wellness. It's like saying tomato, tomato. You have to pick one that really resonates with you. And we have provided a couple of them up here. Um, One thing to note is that wellness is a choice, a decision you make to move towards optimum health. Another definition, wellness is a way of life. It's a lifestyle. You design this lifestyle to achieve your highest potential for well-being. Wellness is a process, a developing awareness that there is no endpoint, but that health and happiness are possible in each moment, here and now. Wellness is a balance of channeling of energy received from the environment, transformed within you, and return to affect the world around you. Wellness is the integration of body, mind, emotions, and spirit. The appreciation that everything you do and think and feel and believe has an impact on your state of health and the health of the world. And finally, wellness is the loving acceptance of yourself.
A little more about wellness. According to the Global Wellness Institute, wellness is a modern word with ancient roots that can be traced to ancient civilizations in India, China, Greece, and Rome. During the 19th century within Europe and the United States, intellectual, religious, and medical movements developed along with Western medicine. With an emphasis on holistic and natural approaches, self-healing, and preventative care, these movements provided the foundation for wellness as we know it today. Moreover, during the 1960s and 1970s, the wellness movement gained more exposure following the writings by those such as Halbert Dunn, often referred to as the father of the wellness movement, Jack Travis and Don Nordell, founding members of the wellness movement, and Bill Hetler, co-founder of the National Wellness Institute. Today, concepts of healthy living, self-help, fitness, nutrition, diet, and spiritual practices have become a wellness movement. Defining wellness, while there are many definitions for wellness, for the purposes of today's presentation, we will define wellness in part as a holistic and strength-based approach. According to the American Holistic Health Association, the term holistic refers to the healing of the whole person. We are all comprised of interdependent parts to include our mind, body, and spirit. Moreover, wellness at its core is a balance between mind, body, and spirit. In considering our well-being from this holistic perspective, the choices that we make pertaining to our diet, our environment, behavior, relationships, physical activity, and even how we manage our physical and behavioral health needs leads to a state of holistic health. The Global Wellness Institute asserts that wellness is not a passive or static state, but rather an active pursuit that is associated with intentions, choices, and actions as we work toward an optimal state of health and well-being. Secondly, the organization posits that wellness is linked to holistic health that extends beyond our physical health and incorporates many different dimensions that all work in harmony. However you choose to define wellness, the most important thing to remember is that wellness is a personal journey that is based upon your own needs and choices. Wellness is multidimensional. It is more than just your physical health. Most models of wellness include at least 6 or more dimensions that we will discuss. For the purpose of our presentation today, we will discuss the 8 dimensions of wellness created by SAMHSA. Wellness involves self-awareness, again, as a whole person and bringing balance to our various dimensions. The 8 dimensions of wellness include the following areas: emotional wellness. SAMHSA states that emotional wellness is an ability to cope effectively with life and build satisfying relationships with others. There's financial wellness, which includes satisfaction with current and future finances. Social wellness, which includes a sense of belonging, social connectedness, and the development of social supports. Spiritual wellness, which is the association we give to our purpose and meaning in life. Occupational wellness, which includes the feelings of satisfaction and enrichment we feel from work. Physical wellness is the wellness when we maintain a healthy body with exercise, nutrition, and sleep hygiene. Mental and intellectual wellness, which involves the use of creativity and problem-solving skills. And lastly, environmental wellness, which includes a physical, healthy environment that is free of hazards and an awareness of how our existence impacts nature and the environment around us. One of the objectives of our presentation today is to assist you in acquiring the knowledge and skills needed to create your own toolkit. A toolkit is a collection of adaptable resources that enables employees to learn about an issue and identifying approaches to address them.
Okay, another one of the objectives and takeaways from this presentation is for you to make your own wellness plan. Now, wellness plan, I use this in my classes with students, and then I started thinking, if I'm using this for my students, why am I not using this for myself and those around us? Only you know you as well as you do and what you need. But some key questions to be asking yourself, what coping skills are working right now? And then which dimension of wellness do you want to work on? I'm personally working on the social. and 2 coping skills. We don't want to say go get 5, 10, 12 new coping skills. Really think about 2 that are realistic to you and who you are. Okay, and moving forward. When talking about our toolkit and our wellness plan, we took together several different exercises that would help us self-care. Now, some of you may know the commercial, I think it's for Capital One. They say, what's in your wallet? You want to be able to ask yourself, what's in your toolkit? What's in your toolkit to help you as a counselor? So everybody will relate to different words, but you can see that we have plenty to guide you. Gratitude, journaling, awareness, eating, and also meditation. I'm personally trying meditation for the first time in my life.
So speaking of toolkits, there was a old age mythical story between the breath and the 5 senses. So I invite you just to sit back for a couple minutes and listen to this intriguing story. There was a conference of all the human facilities, all the senses, which in Indian mythology, there are 6, the 5 senses plus the mind. As at many meetings, they first had to decide who would be in charge, who would facilitate. Sight popped up and put its bid in, creating beautiful images that had everyone enraptured. Smell arose, creating powerful and haunting aromas that left everyone tingling with anticipation. But taste could top that, with astounding and delightful flavors from all the world's cuisines. Hearing created exquisite harmonies that brought everyone to tears. And the body brought on physical sensations that had everyone in ecstasy. And the mind spun out intellectual theories that took on beauty by the depths of the truth they expressed. Along came the breath, not even one of the senses. And it said it wanted to be in charge. All it could present was a simple in and out breath, not terribly impressive in the face of everyone else. No one even noticed. The other senses got into a tremendous argument about which one of them would be chosen. The breath, in its disappointment, began walking away, and all the images began to fade. The tastes lost their savior, the sounds faded. Wait, wait, the senses called. Come back, you can lead. We need you. And the breath came back and took its proper place. Now, Katie mentioned meditation earlier, and I've been meditating for many years. But meditation, it is a process. There is no right or wrong way to do it, you know. But meditation is commonly described as a training of mental attention that awaken us beyond the conditioned mind and habitual thinking and reveals the nature of reality. And I should say that the nature of your own reality in that moment. In this guide, the process and the fruit of meditation practice is understood as a natural presence, presence is a mindful, clear recognition of what is happening here, now. And the opening, allowing the space that includes all experience. Again, meditation is not a perfect process. There is no right or wrong way to meditate. The most important thing is your attitude. Attitude is everything. So if you go into meditation saying, oh, I can't meditate, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to meditate. However, if you go into meditation open to whatever is going to occur, then that's where the beauty is going to begin. Now, there are different types of meditation. You may have heard there are meditation. You can meditate on the cushion, or you can meditate off the cushion. On the cushion, you probably think of the traditional eyes closed, legs folded, you could do a seated meditation. But there's also meditation off the cushion, the walking meditation, um, Tai Chi, yoga, um, Qigong, and many, many more. There are different apps now. There are about 1 billion apps we have. One of the most famous ones right now is Insight Timer. This is an app that I use multiple times a day. Um, the one thing I love about this app, I can meditate with somebody that's in Budapest, or I could be meditating with someone that's down the block from me. There's also the Calm app meditation. That's good for sleeping. And then there's another link, One Minded Dharma Movement Meditation. It provides a list of various meditations that suits your needs. One meditation style does not fit everyone, so you have to search and find the one meditation or several meditations that really resonate with you. Um, One particular meditation that I love to use is the rain meditation or brain process. Um, it could be used as a meditation. This brain technique is a simple yet highly effective way of turning into our inner world and creating a pause between the stimulus of the outside world and our reaction. The pause is the true purpose of this meditation and allows for one to be grounded in the present moment. The RAIN acronym was created about 25 years ago by Vanessa teacher Michelle McDonald's for the practice specifically geared towards easing emotional confusion and suffering. For example, when a negative or agitated feeling arises, we pause and apply the RAIN, which are 4 steps cued by the acronym, and begin to pay attention to what is happening from us. Within the past couple of years, Tara Brach, an American psychologist, author, and a proponent of Buddhist meditation, has recultivated the RAIN technique. She's a guided teacher and founder of the Insight Meditation community of Washington, D.C. So this RAIN meditation, or if you want to call it a process, is used for compassion, concentration, focus. It improves your inner awareness, your compassion for self, and compassion for others. It gives you a calm and clear mind. You can use this RAIN method anytime you're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or out of touch. It's a powerful way of homecoming into a challenging time. So next, here are the couple steps of the RAIN meditation. The R in the RAIN stands for recognizing what is happening. That's it, just simply recognizing what is happening, nothing more, nothing less. The A in the RAIN stands for allow. Allow life to be just as it is. Whatever you are experiencing, just allow it to be as it is. You don't have to name it or anything like that. Just experience it for what it is. The I in RAIN stands for investigate the inner experience. The N in RAIN stands for natural loving awareness, or some individuals like to say non-identification. Whichever one resonates with you, you can utilize it. Now, I'm going to walk you just through a brief meditation on the steps of RAIN. So I invite you to find a place that is comfortable. You can do this either sitting or lying down. And I just invite you to close your eyes and begin to direct your focus on your breathing, in and out. And as you become aware of every breath as it flows in and out, I invite you to recognize, that is the R in RAIN, recognize what is happening as you reflect on a situation. Now, this situation can be anything that is bothering you right now, a stressful situation, something that's not sitting well with you, just something that is really just agitating you right now. It doesn't have to be anything traumatic. There's something that is, just not sitting well. So you recognize what is happening as you reflect on this situation. And ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? What sensations are you most aware of? What emotions is your mind filled with? Is it turning thoughts? Just take a moment to become aware of whatever is prominent over the overall emotional tone of the situation. You can visualize the circumstances surrounding this situation right now. What is it setting? Where is it at? Does it involve another individual? The next step in the RAIN process is allow. Allow life to be just as it is. Just as it sends a message to your heart to let me, this entire experience, find yourself. The willingness to pause and accept that in these moments, what you can experiment with mentally, whispering words like yes, I can send, or I can let be. You may find yourself just saying yes to a huge in, or no to a body and mind. But just allow whatever is coming up, just allow it to be. No naming, just allowing yourself to experience what it is. And things may come up for you. You may have a huge resistance. You may find yourself saying yes to a huge and again, or no to a body and mind. Painfully contracted and resistance, you may be saying yes. I hate this. And this is perfectly natural in this step too. You know, your mind's going to try to run and do what it needs to, and do what it wants to do just to preserve you. Just allow it to be. You're simply just noticing what is true and intending not to judge, push away, or control anything you find. Just allowing. The I in RAIN stands for investigate. I invite you to investigate with a gentle, curious intention, being interested and kind to your experience. You know, some of the following questions may be helpful. You know, feel free to experiment with them in various sequence and content. What is the worst part of this? What most wants my attention? What is the most difficult, painful thing I am believing? What emotions does this bring up? Fear, anger, grief? What are my feelings about the strongest in my body? Just please note that it's helpful to scan through the chest, the belly, you know, the throat, your neck, your shoulders, whatever it may be. What are these feelings like? The felt senses or sensations such as the jaws clench? You know, do you feel raw? Are you hot? Are you cold? And when you assume these facial expressions and body postures that best reflects these motions. What do I notice? Are these feelings familiar? Something I've experienced earlier in my life? If the most vulnerable, hurting part of me could communicate, what would be expressed? What words, feelings, and or emotions or images? How does this part want me to be with it? What does this part most need from me or for some larger source of love and wisdom? The N, nurture with loving presence. As you sense what is needed, your body knows at this moment in time what is best for you. So let's listen to it. What is your natural response calling on the most wise and compassionate part of your being? Invite yourself to offer a loving message or send a tender embrace inward. You might imagine someone you trust, like a parent, a pet, a teacher, a spiritual figure, a loving friend, a significant other holding you with love. Just feel free to experiment with ways of befriending your inner light, whether it be through words or touch or images of energy. Discover which best allows you to feel nurtured and take as much time as you need to receive the rain.
Always so hard to come back from such a peaceful moment. So thank you, Fabian. Um, so as I welcome you back to this moment that we are all in, I want to take you back to reflecting on the building of your wellness toolkit, and you've just been given such a priceless piece of it, which is, you know, the ability to be able to find that peacefulness, and hopefully you had some time to reflect just back in that space. And we did want to give you some time to just be able to remember how important it is to take care of yourself. So as we're building our wellness toolkit, we did want to provide you a step-by-step guide. And first, and again, if you would like to have this PowerPoint presentation, because I am going to be going through a couple of the prior slides that we had in here, at the end I provide an email where you can ask us for those slides. So please feel free to reach out. Katie had referenced some questions that she had provided. So the first thing is to think about those questions. And so she spoke to you about some different questions that you want to reflect on. So you want to go back to that worksheet and think about the questions in the wellness plan and think about just a couple of them. So when she pulled that wellness plan up, again, this is not about being overwhelmed when we think about building this wellness toolkit. It's a very step-by-step, small pieces so that when you're finished, you have this toolkit available for you on those days when you need it, so that you can build on it. And again, you might add things to your toolkit, you might take things away, you might need things, some things you need on a really tough day, some things you might just find, like we talked about meditation, you might utilize that on a day-to-day basis because it just feels good, helps put you in a really good place. Some things you might need on those days when you're on crisis overload. So again, utilize this toolkit when and if it's necessary, and use those things that are very beneficial to you. And again, it's a customized toolkit. Also, reflect back on the toolkit word cloud. It was shaped in that heart. There were all kinds of things on that toolkit word cloud that will be beneficial to you. Not everyone will need everything that's on there. There was meditation, there was nutrition, there were all kinds of things that are available. And so what we'd like you to do there is to just go back and pick out your personalized top 5. Find the things that speak to you. When you look at that word cloud, those top 5 are going to jump out at you when you look at that heart. And so pick out your top 5 and add them to your toolkit. Next, pick out one of the demonstrations that we provided to you today and add them to your toolkit. Again, we were able to give you that rain demonstration that may have spoken to you. It may have been the meditation that spoke to you. It may have been something else that really was like, ooh, I've got to have that in my toolkit. That's what I really need. Make sure that you pick just one of those and add it to your toolkit so you've got it available to you and easily accessible. The next thing is to make sure that you build that peer group or care team, whatever word speaks to you, and make sure you get that in place. If you've got that care team on speed dial on your phone, or you've got it by email, or you've got that individual or that group or that team that's easily accessible for you after you have a tough student or a bad day, you're going to be more likely to reach out to them. If you have to stop and think, oh, who should I talk to? Really wish I had somebody to talk to. You're going to spend so much time thinking about who should I reach out to that you're not going to do it. So please put that team together so that you've got individuals to reach out to. It may be the other individuals on your BIT team. It's not necessarily somebody outside of the college or your individual BIT team. It might be somebody close to you that you already have within your, group or your peers. But just make sure that you put them and you have them accessible so they're easy to resource when you need them. And at the last 2, make one change to your workday that helps you formally end your workday and transition to your personal time. This one is very important in the new digital world. You need to do something that will help you mentally and physically detach from your workday. For example, maybe it's as simple as you get up from your office, you walk outside, you close the door, maybe you go right back into your house, but it signals to your brain and your body, my workday's over. Maybe it's closing your computer. Maybe it's shutting your computer screen down. Maybe it's separating and having a separate workspace versus another area in your house. whatever that is, make that one change today. And I really, really encourage you to do this. We have really started blending our work day and our work life with our home life and our personal life. And finding those boundaries is going to really help you on the first step to self-care. And finally, please be kind to yourself. We are all very caring individuals on the BIT team, and we tend to overextend ourselves and put ourselves second or sometimes fourth or fifth on the list of needs. Please be kind to yourself. It's something you'll do for yourself and for everyone around you, and you'll be better in the end at caring for students and their needs by taking care of yourself. What lessons have I learned how to manage myself better in a digital world? Remote work is very different from working in our office. I think we all had this image that, wow, working at home is going to be so great. I'm going to have so much free time. I think we've all found very quickly that as we did this transition to the digital world, we work a whole lot harder and a whole lot more than we did in our offices. Maybe not, and maybe don't tell our bosses, but it's probably true. Those boundaries are very blurred now. So find a way to create a workspace for yourself. Some of us are probably very limited, and maybe that's not possible. But if it's not, find a way to physically detach from your work area at the end of the day. I gave you some examples previously. Close your computer, turn your phone off, go for a walk. Find a way to separate yourself. And most importantly, create your wellness toolkit for yourself. Provided today, we've given you a lot of tools. Please personalize those and make sure that you put them in place. Create a self-care plan for yourself on those days when you have a lot of crises, and also create that resource team for yourself. It might be BIT members that you have, but in those moments when you have emotional overload, you're going to be really, really happy that you have that care team in place for yourself. And that wellness toolkit, you've got it. Now what? So now you have the tools for your toolkit. What are you going to do now? So practice adding those tools to your everyday life. Find a way to slowly integrate one of those new skills when you need it. Like I mentioned earlier, you may not need your toolkit every day, but you've got it available. And you might need one tool, you might need 5 tools, but please make sure that you put that toolkit into place and keep it there when you need it. And we wish you a really successful academic year. And remember, the tools are there to help you when you need them for success. We put together some resource items for you. Please utilize these as you need them. They're community-based resources, nutritional resources, spiritual resources, and additional resources. And again, remember, your employer might have some great employee assistance programs for you. So make sure that you're utilizing those to help you when you're having a stressful time. We encourage our students to do this. So sometimes we should look in the mirror and utilize those resources for ourselves. We have really enjoyed spending time with you today. We thank you for joining us for our presentation. Remember, be kind to yourself. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself. Thank you again for joining us for our presentation. Our email is here. Please email us if you have any questions or comments about the presentation, or if you would like us to send you this presentation. Have a great day. Thank you.